All right, recording my first game of Ventures season 27. Now, I don't grind Ventures every single season because, I mean, come on, we're on season 27, and I have been a known disliker of the way Ventures is set up, but I'm feeling it this season, and I'm even streaming it on the day that I'm recording this. Of course, when this video goes live, I might not be live, but, you know, Twitch link down below if you guys want to catch one. So, when you are starting Ventures, I always recommend a resupply. I also always recommend a power level 15 zone, but every single level 15 zone available on the first day of the season is combat oriented, and I don't love that. And the XP difference between resupply and anything else is like 500 XP, which is not that much. Really, what you want to do in your very first game is to just get resources at any cost, which is why we're running a very basic farming loadout. Very traditional, but Fossil Southie Commander is identical performance to Clip because you get to punch more often, so it does balance out. I've got lots of videos showcasing this, so she's in support. If you don't have Clip, she's actually available this season. If you go to the Clip's Nightmare section, you could see she's unlockable, so you might not have her immediately in the season, but she is unlockable this season. Then, of course, we've just got 2 dinos to activate Blast from the Past. That's just so that we can get the energy generation. Then we got Fleet because you are rarely sprinting if you're farming efficiently, so Eternal Wanderer for extra sprint stamina isn't very necessary. Fleetfoot Ken helps a lot. And then, of course, Archaeologist, because we are, come on, click, spamming the heavy attacks, and she'll make that even cheaper. So very, very basic build. And, of course, the reason we do not start with an Atlas is because of the Ventures quest. The very first quest is to complete a mission. The very next quest is going to be fight an Atlas, Category 1 Storm. Then it'll be Ride the Lightning and retrieve the data. So running anything other than those 3 is ideal, and Resupply is a non-combat mission that it just allows us to farm. So let's hop in game and do exactly that. One thing I didn't mention is the modifier this season. So it's the short range modifier. Basically, you want to kill enemies within 2 tiles of you. That's basically it. So we want a couple of objectives. First and foremost, builds. You want to be able to trap your defenses, and that won't be necessary immediately in the season, but it is something that will come up eventually, and getting a head start on that is very nice. Capping out your wood and brick is relatively easy, but that's what this first mission is for. And the other thing I want to get is a glowing animal. If we can kill a crow or anything glowing, really, they can drop weapons that are a significant upgrade. You can see I've got a level 1 razor, whatever this thing's called, but on this tree above me, I can see on the minimap is, let's see right there, a Terminator. Not the best weapon in the game, but at a power level 15, it is dramatically better than the starting weapons that we start with. So that's already a direct upgrade. I've had this happen in previous first game videos where the first thing I did was kill a crow, and did anybody see that video that remembers? Comment down below. Seconds into one of my very first Venture seasons, I started with a level 22 Scar. Like, not the most exciting thing ever, but to have that just right out of the gate is so nice, and never struggled for getting kills in that game. Of course, abilities are very strong. That is not a rock. That is usually perfectly fine to just use your traps and your trap tunnels, but having a decent weapon right out of the gate is great, especially for the combat challenges. There are a lot of challenges in the game that want you to use melees, certain melees, clubs, axes, scythes, stuff like that. It's kind of a lot, and getting weapons from the animals are a great way to get strong variants of them without having to buy them from a vending machine. The other thing we can look for, if a teammate finds it, maybe you guys can point it out, is a storm chest or a target practice. These are both very good ways to get decent items. And you can also see the tables destroyed on the left there is happening from the Outlander Punch. That can be really, really nice just to complete quests quickly. I recommend doing as many quests as you can, unlocking the clip stuff. Is Ragnarok a quest? No, he's in the shop, or whatever challenges are going on. You just go to your quests and make sure. Clip's Nightmare is the first one, but there might be other stuff popping out throughout the season, and keeping up with all that is very good. Especially if you're an early game player, you might not have everything completed like I do, and that would be a good time to stay on top of those. So all tables destroyed. Nice to find one of those manors nice and early. I'm not going to be looking at vending machines for a while. Like I said, glowing animals are going to be sufficient for decent weapons in the early game, and there's really no need to spend resources we barely have on low-level weapons that will be replaced instantly. No vending machines in this zone are going to be well worth it. I feel like it's the 60s and 70s zones where you start to actually get something remotely worthwhile for the end game. Of course, if you see an early Xenon bow, that's a nice one to grab, but yeah, it's otherwise very, very not worth it to pick up vending machines. But yeah, these first Ventures missions, I'm glad that you guys enjoy them. They're kind of cute videos for me to make because it's the same thing every time. I'm just hanging out talking while I farm for 10 minutes. I mean, every Venture season starts the same. And then when I'm a higher level down the way, I sometimes record Ventures loadouts. If you guys want Ventures loadouts for this season, I have a whole playlist for them. I don't make a lot of new videos on the subject because there's not much new to say. Ventures hasn't changed fundamentally in a long time. You still can't control what weapons you have, and you, due to that, don't have a lot of variety. So Cloak Shadow is really, really great. Blakebeard's stash got buffed, so I think recording a new video on that subject would probably be pretty good. I did do that already, if you guys want to see what I'm talking about, but Blakebeard's stash chests pick up instantly now. They are so good. So good. So if you're in the middle of combat and you're trying to pick up a chest, taking damage won't stop you because you don't even need to search it. You just run over the chest and it picks up right away. I'm not demonstrating that right now because Cloak Shadow is not my recommended farming hero, believe it or not. He's a combat hero more than anything, and will not count towards your melees, by the way. He is ability kills. So, well, I don't even know if he counts as ability kills. Do you know that, Archer? Do you want to chime in while I'm recording?
What are you talking about?
Does Cloak Shadow count for ability kills, like hero abilities? That's one of the quests.
Yeah, he should.
He should?
His stuff is ability damage.
I thought so. So, you know, it's not like a traditional minigun or Dragon Slash kind of thing, but should count. So, worth trying at least. He's fun enough. So, Cloak Shadow is great for combat, but right now I'm just farming. And that's where that can come up later. But other than that, Ventures, I mean, because you can't control your weapon, all I can recommend is like a general shotgun build and like the best shotgun you can get because of the short range modifier. And then any melee build. If you guys have seen my video on the best ninja loadout, that is what I recommend for Ventures. Just pair whatever melee you can get from farming, vending machine, glowing animals, and then just use that. You know, it's just unfortunate because when you can't control your weapons or its perks in Ventures, you're kind of just at the mercy of RNG. You're at the mercy of finding a copper deadeye from a barrel you looted. So I guess I'll build a loadout around that. And don't do that. That's a terrible weapon. So yeah, it's tricky. You know, I want to make new Ventures videos. I don't like linking 3-year-old videos. Not that they're outdated. It's just that people assume they are. And it's like, I don't really have anything new to say there. And the tricky thing about Ventures, this is the same conundrum I have every single season, is that Ventures loadouts are best showcased when I'm in the endgame. And by the time I'm in the endgame, Ventures has been out for a couple of weeks because I don't grind it that hard. Not to brag, but I like to sleep at night. So by the time I'm ready to record in like an 82 or a 90 zone at least, so I can actually kill things with the loadout I'm showing off, the people who have been wanting a Ventures loadout are usually done with Ventures by now anyway. It's gotten to the point where I've actually thought about recording Ventures loadouts a year in advance. And posting them the next year so I can record the loadout in a 140 zone and then post it later, but I've just never done that because you get the idea. I have posted Ventures videos where I recorded the loadout showcase in a 20 zone and it's terrible. It's not a good way to showcase a weapon. So have we found any target practice or storm chests? I mean, it is a power level 5 zone, so that kind of thing is probably suffering, but when that comes up in future missions, make a team effort out of that because everybody gets their own drops from a storm chest and everybody gets their own drops from a target practice. So no matter who does it, so long as you're in range to some degree, that is very nice. And if you ever need to get an ore high up on the wall, you can actually build lots of different builds. You can build ramps and cones and edit floors and try to work your way into the position in a very weird situation. You know, you can't always build up into the ore, but yeah. Also, your energy generates at 6.2 per second on a 2-second cooldown. So whenever you spend energy, wow, that's pretty out there. Huh. Well, maybe that's a thumbnail background. How about that? You know, I always struggle with what my thumbnail should be. You know what, I might take the opportunity. But yeah, so whenever you use energy, there's a 2-second cooldown before you start generating natural energy again. It's a little hard to tell because of Fossil Southie generating, 12 energy per second constantly, but there is an extra 6.2 per second that's coming from the normal game if you're just patient. So this whole, like, punching as soon as I can thing is technically inefficient. You can see if I wait, it just jumps and jumps and jumps and jumps, and it's a much more efficient way to generate energy. Of course, I'm in a position where I've kind of ran out of stuff to punch, so it's not getting taken advantage of, but it is still something to consider. Some of these can be really tricky. Is a straight up floor just going to work for that? All right, cool. That's the running. You know, that's a feature I have not gotten used to, and it happens on accident more than on purpose. So I have to be careful of that. But this is good too. Bacon. Gas traps are still good in my opinion. In Ventures, it's tricky because in the Hexsylvania season there is a slight shortage on metal. It's kind of hard to get a lot of nuts and bolts and stuff like that. You know, metal, nuts and bolts, mechanical parts. So, gas traps might not be my number one suggestion. You might be able to barely afford tire traps or something. You know, work smart, not hard kind of thing. But it's still worth grabbing the bacon in case it comes up later, just because this is a super focused farming session. We are here to get resources. You spawn into Ventures with an empty inventory, and you need to fix that as soon as possible. I do recommend usually farming as you go. So after I record these first game Ventures mission videos, usually, this is the very last time I farm throughout the entire season. Obviously, I'm usually playing in a full party, and yeah, okay, I'm a streamer. People are always here to help me, blah, blah, blah. I get that complaint a lot. But if you are seriously concerned playing solo, first, be nice to people. That is the number one thing you can do to get people to want to do more things with you, and that applies to the real world. Also, I have a target practice. If anybody, you know, Archer, Ucrab, whoever. Archer's not even going to play Ventures, but it's here if you guys want it.
I'm not playing Ventures.
Be nice to people, and the Minerva Discord is a great place to talk to people. Let them know, hey, I'm running Ventures and I'd like a team. Don't ask for a carry. Do not ask for help. Just say, hey, I'm gaming. This is my power level. Want to play. And you don't need to do this next part, but it helps a lot. You are significantly more likely to get people to play with you if you run Constructor. You don't have to, but if you want maximum success, you know, it helps. The basic key there is kind of like a business philosophy. Like, if you have value, people will want it. If you say, hey, I'm going to be a constructor, I'm going to coordinate, I'm going to help you out, we're going to do this together, you are much more likely to get a mission. I think the people who are beast haters and they say, oh, he always has a full lobby of max players because he's a streamer and they just do everything for him. Those are the kind of people who probably go into Discord and say, can I get a carry? And then are surprised when nobody says yes. It's like, you need to have value. You need to provide some input to the game. You need to participate. You don't need to be a constructor, but at least do something and let people know that you will be an asset on the team and play the game. Make some friends. Add people if you have a good time, and you should be able to have a full party all the time. And in that scenario, you should hopefully not have to place every single trap, every single mission, a quarter of it in an ideal world. And then if you just farm periodically, we didn't see hardly any glowing animals today. I'm going to assume Archer stole all my kills and blame him entirely. I got like one glowing animal kill with my drone, so I don't know what Archer's doing out here, just betraying me. The sabotage.
Excuse me.
But if you work as a team, it could be a lot more productive, and if you farm those animals as you go along, do the target practice as a squad, get those extra traps and stuff, recycle them for rewards, you should be pretty good. And like I said, farming in a focus session like this has almost never been necessary again, but you can also do that anyway. Farm as you need and have fun with it. So there you go. Description down below has more loadouts if you guys want to check them out. Like I said, those old videos are still good. If I had anything new to say, I would have said it. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Enjoy your new venture season. Subscribe if you're new. Channel members get early access to some of my videos, so if you guys want to see some early stuff, there you go. But all my videos go free to view eventually, so you don't need to pay for anything. It'll go live in no time, or 2 months, usually something in between. So that's it. I'm out of here. Goodbye.